Hi guys, it's Lisa from LSB Creates, and in today's video we will be learning how to knit. So the project that we will be doing is this beautiful garter stitch beginner knit scarf. It is a really cool project. So what you'll need for this project, you will need 2 balls of Lion brand Wool Ease Quick and Thick yarn, or any bulky size yarn that matches that. And you will also need size 10mm knitting needles. You can use circular needles or you can use straight needles. So in this video, you will learn how to cast on. You will learn how to switch to a different ball of yarn when the first ball is done, because this takes 2 balls, and you will learn how to bind off. All right guys, so come and knit with me.
LSB, it's the knit with me. You can make projects for your whole family. It's the LSB, knit with me. You can make projects for your whole family.
Okay guys, so we're gonna use the yarn Wool Ease Thick and Quick. You can find this at your local craft store, Joann's Fabric or Hobby Lobby, and a size US 15 needle, 10mm. So the first thing we're going to learn is how to cast on. When you get your yarn, also you will see that you have the strand that's at the outer layer of your yarn. I don't normally use that. What I do is I put my fingers in this hole in the middle, and I just grab out the middle, and this time this what I got. I was having a little bit of trouble with getting it out, but it's out. So I use the yarn from the middle. To me, I find it easier that way. My ball won't just be rolling all over the place, and it can just slide right out like this from the middle. Okay, so the first thing we'll learn to do is how to cast on. When I learned how to knit, I first learned how to do a slip knot. I'm not going to show you how to do a slip knot today because you can actually cast on without a slip knot. So what we want to do, we want to get about a good 20 inches of yarn out like this, because you're going to need this for your cast on. Then we're going to use our left hand to hold our yarn, and in our right hand we have our needle. So you're going to do your hands like this, and with your thumb you're going to be holding this end of your yarn. Going to wrap it around. Then you have these 2 fingers here you're going to use to hold onto the yarn. Then you're going to wrap this end around your pointer finger and carry it around and put it with the other yarn. So here we have it, just like this. This is how you're going to hold your yarn. Okay. Now we're going to use our needle. I'm going to place it right here, and what we want to do, carry it around. You're going to go under this yarn by your thumb. You're going to move over to your pointer finger, grab that yarn, pull it through the thumb yarn, release your thumb, and then you use your thumb to pull that yarn tight, and there you have it. So right now you see you have 2 stitches on your needle, so we're going to count that as you cast it on 2. So now we're gonna go back to holding our yarn the way that we did before. So now, as you can see, your yarn has kind of separated. This yarn is the beginning of the ball of yarn, is over here on your left side, and then you have this side, which is called your working yarn, over to your right side. That is the side you will be using to knit with your working yarn. Okay, let's continue to cast on. In this video, we're going to cast on 15 stitches. Okay, so remember, this left side, you want to place it, hold it like this with these two fingers, then wrap it around your thumb. Then your other yarn, you want to wrap it around your pointer finger. So it should look something like this. Okay. Again, we're going to first go over to your thumb, pick up, put your needle under that yarn, over this yarn by your pointer finger, and then you're going to pull that through and release your thumb, using your thumb to tighten up that stitch. Now we have 3 stitches. Alright, so let's continue. You just watch, and you just continue to repeat this until you're comfortable with it. You can pause, repeat. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, last one, 15. So here we have it, 15 stitches on your needle. Now in knitting, we use 2 needles. So our next step, we're going to turn our work and we're going to learn how to do the knit stitch. So one thing you want to be careful about is you don't want to start off knitting with this part of the yarn. You want to just put that over here away from you, and you're going to be working with the yarn that's coming out of your ball of yarn. So first thing we're going to do is work with the first stitch. So what we want to do is with our right needle, and as you can see how I'm holding my needles, and as you go you can find your own way, the way that you're comfortable with holding your needles. So I'm going to place this needle right underneath this stitch. So you're going to go underneath as if you're creating an X, creating a X with your needles. You're going to grab your working yarn, you're going to wrap it around that needle, and while you're still holding this yarn, you're going to grab onto your needle, pull, and I use my pointer finger also to help me push that down, and I'm trying to bring that stitch that I just wrapped around that needle, I'm trying to bring it up right here on this needle, my right needle. Then I want to slide the stitch off the left needle, just like so. So now I have one stitch, one knit stitch that's on my right needle. So the goal is to get all your stitches from your left needle over to your right needle. And this is the knit stitch. We have other stitches, but in this video we're just going to cover casting on, knit stitch, and binding off. So let's go to our second stitch. Again, we place the right needle into this next stitch on our left needle. Push it under, and we're going to use our working yarn, wrap it around while holding the yarn still. Grab your right needle. You can use your pointer finger on your left hand to push that needle down, pulling that yarn up from under that stitch. Then you're going to slip that stitch off your left needle. And that we have 2 knit stitches. Okay, so let's continue. And this is all about practicing. The more you practice, the better you get, the more you feel comfortable. So we go under, around, pull up and off. Under, around, pull up and off. And we just continue that on every stitch on your left needle until you have all your stitches over on your right needle. And you push these up as you go. Wrap around, pull up and off. One more stitch on our left needle, go under, wrap around, pull up and off. And there we have it. We have completed 1 row of knit stitches. So as you continue to knit, these are called knit stitches, and they create something called garter stitch. So every time you're done with a row, you turn and you will have your left needle with all the stitches and your right needle is empty. So let's try that again. So the first stitch, right needle under, and this is all we're gonna do, guys. That's it. We're just gonna continue to do this stitch all the way till we have enough that's going to create a beautiful beginner scarf. So this is just practice for you. Once you've done this so many times, it'll be very easy for you to knit other things. Last stitch, under, over, pull up and off. Alright, so this is what it's looking like. So we have completed 2 rows. Okay guys, so I have knitted that entire ball of yarn. All that's left is this string here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to join another ball of yarn to this. I have, let me see, I can't get it all on the camera, but I'm gonna measure how long this is that I've knitted. 24 inches, about 24 inches. So I want it a bit longer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue knitting. I'm going to join another ball of yarn, and I'll knit that entire ball of yarn, and then we're going to bind off. So I'm going to show you right now how to change colors. So I've got another ball of yarn, and I took the center out, and that's the piece that I'll be starting with. All right, so here we go. So to change, all you will need is to have just a bit of your end right here. Let's see. So I'm doing about 8 inches. So I'm just holding it like this, just like this. I'm gonna get my needle, and just like I taught you guys before, you go ahead and put your needle right in here. Let me move up so you guys can see. You can go in here. Then you're gonna get this yarn. It's like you're making a little loop like this. You're gonna put it onto the right needle, and you're just gonna pull that loop up and then slide that first stitch off of your left needle, and that's your first stitch. Now you will continue to knit with the working end of this ball of yarn. So you'll have 2 strings here. This string is the end of the last ball, and this string here is the beginning of your new ball. So you just leave them hanging for now. At the end, I'll teach you guys how to weave these in so you won't be able to see it. So you get your working end of the yarn. Here we go again. Let me get you guys up a little. I'm gonna go under, wrap around, pull up, and slip off. Under, wrap around, pull up, slip off. And that's it. This is literally the entire step. You just continue doing this row after row until you've only have a little bit of yarn left. And I'm going to teach you guys how to bind off. I'm going to continue to knit this entire ball of yarn, and I will meet you guys at the end where we will learn how to bind off, because at the end of our work we're going to want to be able to take our needle off and not lose our stitches. If we just take our needle off right now, we can just unravel, use this and pull and unravel all the work that we have done so far. So binding off is going to make sure you lock those stitches in. And that's it. So I'll meet you guys back when I finish this entire ball. And just like me, if you want yours a little longer, you are going to need 2 balls of yarn. And like I said, this entire ball gave me 24 inches of this. And also we can talk about our knitting tension, meaning how tightly you're knitting or how loosely you're knitting. If you're pulling on this really tight, that means you'll get tighter stitches. And as you can see the texture of this, this is what I was saying is called a garter stitch. I hope you guys can see it good. In here you'll just see ridges. It's just ridges, that's what they call them. And they are truly beautiful. If I stretch it, you'll probably see them a little better. And that's what continuous knit stitches get you. This pattern, garter stitch. Okay guys, so I will continue to knit. And one more thing you want to be careful about when you're getting to the end of this row here, because right here is the beginning of your yarn change. So it's a bit loose. So when you're knitting into it, it might seem as if something is wrong, and you can actually slip that yarn out right there. So you don't want to do that. So you just take that needle out and you just give that a tug. If you want to feel more secure, you can use just a regular tie to just keep it there for now. And like I said, once we're done binding off, I'll teach you how to get your needle and just sew in this extra yarn into these ridges. Okay guys, so we're at the end of our project. This is all the yarn that I have left here, and we are about to bind off. So when we're binding off, that just means we're just closing up all the stitches so that your work will not unravel when you're done. You don't just take your needle out and think you're finished. That's not how you do it. So here we go. Binding off. So we're going to start off by knitting this first stitch. Then we will also knit the second stitch. Alright, now here is the fun part. We're going to take this first stitch from our right needle and we want to put it over the second stitch. So I use my left needle, pull that first stitch up while I'm holding the yarn and my right needle. I try to put that first stitch over the second stitch, and that's our first bind off. So each time you will have 2 stitches on your right needle, and then you will put this right stitch over your left stitch, and we do that all the way to the end until you have only 1 stitch on your needle. So again, with your left needle, grab this first stitch, pull it over. Knit 1 again. Pull over. And we'll continue this all the way to the end. And as you can see, you're closing up your work. This is what it looks like. And now we have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 stitches left. Last one. Knit that one, then we get our left needle, pull up this first stitch over that stitch. So now we can put away this needle, pull up on that stitch a bit, take your needle out, then you're gonna get the end of your yarn, you're gonna put it through this loop, and you're gonna pull it to create a knot. And there we have it. We have completed our scarf. So the next step that I want to show you guys is how to weave in your ends. You're going to get a tapestry needle, and what you're going to do, you're just going to sew it in to your work. Just to secure this end. So I just picked a few spots just to sew into. You can't really tell once you're done that you've even done that. And I think that should be good enough. Do one more. And then we'll just cut. Here it is. And then I know from the section where we had joined a new ball, I'm going to take out that knot that I kind of made, and then we will weave in alright. So I'll just go through the ridges a few times just to secure your stitches. Sometimes it's hard to get this through the needle that I have. They have other needles that have a bigger eye that you would work well with. I just really love to use this metal tapestry needle. Alright, so we're almost done, guys. Just these are just your finishing touches, and that should be good here also. Then you cut your excess yarn, and we have one more. This is at the beginning of the work. We had this little tail here, so let's get that weaved in and we will be done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that I was able to teach you how to knit, and I would love to see your finished project. You can check me out on Instagram. That's at LSBcreates, or on my website lsbcreates.com, or leave a comment below the video. Let me know how your project turned out. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe so you can get updated about future videos and projects that we will be doing. So here you have it, guys.